It's a WRAL weather alert day due to pockets of heavy rain and the chance for storms. How your morning commute could be affected by these showers.
Tower tipped over. Electricity is down for much of a Harnett County town after a car crashed into an electrical tower. The challenges crews are facing as they try to fix the problem this morning.
Emergency repairs needed. 3 elementary schools in Lake County are facing issues that could make it unsafe to bring students back. The work that needs to happen to ensure the classrooms are safe. Yes, we're tracking a lot as you're waking up on this WRAL Weather Alert Day. We'll go ahead and dive into what you may have missed from overnight. I'm Chris Levingood.
And I'm Renee Chu. And overnight, a lot of our communities got a decent dose of rain, and that rain is lingering into this morning, and it could affect the morning commute. Let's start with meteorologist Chris Michaels with a look at just how much rain we've gotten over the past 24 hours.
And you know, it's kind of like that Luke Combs song, when it rains, it pours. That has definitely been the case in parts of the area. You can't miss it in the reds and in the yellows, between about 2 and 5 inches of rain estimated in parts of the area. One of those areas, Smithfield, and we got video last night during a flash flood warning of one of the low water crossings there that was actually closed due to the flooding. The flash flood warning, by the way, is no longer in effect for areas like Smithfield, but new this morning, a flood advisory is in effect for Franklin County. Let's go ahead and show you that here. Some heavy rain that continues to fall in the southern tip of Franklin County, and it's moving very slowly east to west toward areas like Youngsville and potentially Wake Forest, and it's still pretty much pouring in Lewisburg so far this morning. In terms of the triangle, got some light rain that's starting to move north from Fuquay and Holly Springs toward Cary and Apex, very slowly approaching areas like Carborough, Chapel Hill, and Durham. So this will have an effect on some of the more busy roads for the morning commute. And then farther south, we've just seen a little bit of clearing in parts of Moore, and Cumberland counties, but still some light rain falling on the Harnett and Johnston County line. Give you a live look at Franklinton, one of the areas dealing with that flood advisory this morning. Temperatures near 70 now, and they're not climbing much heading into the afternoon. We'll show you how long it's been since we've been this cool and why the upper 90s are making a comeback this week. Coming up, Ken.
All right, Chris, we're staying on top of this breaking news of this crash on I-40 westbound near exit 299. That's the exit that can either take you to Garner or toward downtown Raleigh. You can see first responders working that crash in the median right there. At least one lane is closed, causing some huge delays stretching all the way back past Rock Quarry Road. So if you're coming in on I-40 westbound right now, you might want to take Rock Quarry Road if you're in a rush this morning, work your way through downtown and then back on to the Beltline this morning. But for other major routes heading into Raleigh, very little to no delays, just a 1-minute delay coming in from Apex. But if you're coming in from Wake Forest, Knightdale, the Garner-Johnston County area, and I-40 westbound, it's all delay free. You're getting ready to head into the car. Tune us in on the radio, 101.5 HD3.
A man is hurt and another is in police custody after an early morning shooting in downtown Raleigh. The WRAL Breaking News Tracker was near the Moore Square bus station on South Blunt Street just after 2:30 a.m. Police say the man who was shot is expected to recover. We are working to learn if anyone was hurt in this crash that left a car on its side in Raleigh. This happened around 2 this morning on Glenwood Avenue near Wills Forest Street. That's just north of downtown. Raleigh police say the driver crashed into a tree and the car flipped onto its side. No other vehicles were involved. The road was closed while officers investigated. More breaking news. A transmission tower was damaged overnight in Harnett County, leaving more than 1,000 homes there without power.
Yeah, let's go ahead and bring in Allie Calabar. She's out there live right now at Red Church Road in Irwin. Allie, what are you seeing so far? Because when we last came to you, you could see there was that effort to get that tower right side up again, but it's bent over.
Yeah, it is tipped over. We are seeing, it looks like crews are kind of evaluating a plan of action here. It looks like they are meeting, talking about what is next, but you can see that tower is leaning over, leaning onto the utility lines there. Now, crews tell me that a car crashed into this tower around 9 last night. This again happening on Red Hill Church Road and also near Bryant Road. And crews have been here since midnight, they tell me, waiting for other crews to come and turn off power so that they can remove the tower and then put up a temporary power pole, and they're going to connect the utility lines to it there. Now, the electricity, the outage is a little spotty. Some areas have power, others don't. We do know that more than 1,200 customers here in Dunn and Irwin are without power. Estimated restoration time is 10:45 this morning, but crews tell me that could take longer or shorter depending on how quickly they can get this work done. Of course, we are going to keep you updated throughout the morning. Reporting live in Harnett County, Ali Kadlabar, WRAL News.
Happening now here in the WRAL Live Center, we are seeing some progress with power outages that we've been tracking in the Raleigh area. According to the Duke Energy map, we now have about 525 customers that are without power here near Martin Luther King Jr. Boulevard and Poole Road. Earlier this morning at its peak, we had nearly 1,000 customers in this area impacted. The WRAL Breaking News Tracker went out to those neighborhoods impacted around 3 o'clock this morning. Again, this is around Poole Road where you can see that area in the dark. It was first reported around 10:15 last night. And according to Duke Energy, the cause was because of some downed trees or falling limbs in this area. So, of course, we're going to keep you updated on those restoration efforts with the estimated completage of the restoration time is around 8 o'clock this morning. But again, already seeing progress here.
Well, progress is good. Thank you, Laura. Raleigh police are investigating reports of shots fired at an apartment complex. Let's take you there on the WRAL Breaking News Tracker around midnight. This was at Litchford Apartments. That's near Litchford Road and Old Wake Forest Road. You can see these officers there investigating as well as evidence markers in the parking lot. Police say no one was injured and no arrests have been made. And a man was shot in Durham last night. This is what it looked like at that scene at Avon Crossing Apartments just before 11 last night. This is just off Martin Luther King Jr. Parkway. Police say no arrests have been made, and we have not learned yet the victim's condition in this case.
Emergency crews in Johnson County rescued 4 people in kayaks from the Neuse River last night. The Wilsons Mills fire chief says the kayakers were trying to get from Fire Department Road to Smithfield, but they got caught in severe weather. They were found about a half mile from where they started. Fortunately, nobody was hurt. This morning, questions about structural deficiencies at 3 Wake County elementary schools. This could force the start of the school year to be delayed for those students. WRAL's Kelsey Coffey is live outside Davis Drive Elementary in Cary this morning. And Kelsey, the school board is looking to take emergency action to address these issues.
Yes, Renee, that's because the countdown for students returning to the classroom here at Davis Drive Elementary School is on right now. Structural problems have to be fixed before that happens. This morning, Wake school leaders will discuss what's next for 3 elementary schools. Engineers found problems in the connections between walls and other parts of the building at Creech Road Elementary, according to a letter sent to parents. Durant Road and Davis Drive Elementary Schools have the same building plan, which calls their construction into question. The most urgent issues are at Durant Road. Those students are scheduled to return to class within the next 2 weeks. Multiple Durant Road staff members who declined to go on camera tell WRAL the building has had consistent leaks, roofing problems, and HVAC issues for years. WRAL education insider Emily Walkenhorst says these structural problems could create concerns about a delayed start to the school year.
We don't know exactly how long it's going to take. We don't have cost estimates or anything available to us yet. We've asked for that information, so it's unclear so far if there could be further delays beyond the normal start of the school year for any of these schools, but we have asked if that's possible.
Happened during that emergency meeting this morning at 10. Kelsey Coffey, WRAL News, live in Cary.
We want to go ahead and give you a live look right now at Capitol Hill, and that is where flags will be flying at half-staff today. This is in honor of U.S. Senator Lindsey Graham. The senator from South Carolina died Saturday evening, and that was shortly after returning from a trip to Ukraine. The medical examiner says a preliminary finding shows the 71-year-old died after his aorta ruptured because of hardened arteries. He was elected to the Senate more than 20 years ago, and he was a key figure in the Republican Party and one of President Donald Trump's closest allies.
WRAL state government reporter Caroline Jaffa covered Senator Graham extensively in her previous role as a political reporter in South Carolina. Caroline tells us Graham traveled all over South Carolina, engaging with constituents and championing agricultural policies. She also says he was both friendly with and accessible to reporters, even when they were asking tough questions.
The last time I actually saw him and interviewed him was in October of 2025, which was less than a year ago. Every time I met him and saw him, I could feel his love for the state and for policies in general. And his staff was amazing to work with as well. I texted one of them this morning. We were in communication, just expressing my condolences for their loss. I know it was sudden and hard for them, I imagine. And they responded to me saying thank you and that they will reach out if they need anything. It's crazy.
We will share more of Caroline's insights in our late news tonight. You can also watch our full interview with her on the WRAL YouTube page. Reaction to Graham's passing is pouring in from around the globe, including Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky, as well as messages from President Trump and Senator Graham's colleagues in Congress. You can watch those interviews on WRAL's YouTube page, too.
The U.S. has completed a new round of strikes on Iran, and U.S. Central Command says these offensive strikes were aimed at dozens of targets at several locations. When I show you some video the military released overnight, that's from those strikes yesterday. Military leadership says the purpose was to degrade Iran's ability to attack ships in the Strait of Hormuz. And this happened after the two sides exchanged heavy missile and drone strikes over the weekend. Iran says it has closed the Strait of Hormuz again and is launching attacks against U.S. facilities in the Gulf region. Your time is 6:11 this morning, and we're showing you more of this bison attack. A man in the hospital after this happened at Yellowstone National Park. What park management is warning people about after a similar attack happened just a month ago.
Escaping the flames, firefighters in Brunswick County are trying to contain a large wildfire. How a Moore County woman managed to get out of the area.
Definitely hoping that some rain will give them some relief. We're dealing with some pockets of rain for the morning commute, showing you where those are, where we see the chance for localized flooding, and when this stormy pattern breaks. That's all coming your way in less than 10 minutes.
Stay safe with the latest WRAL Weather Alert Day info. Get up to the minute weather and traffic conditions when you get in your car. In Raleigh on 99.3 FM, in Durham 96.5 FM, and everywhere on 101.5 HD3.
Quarter after 6, and we give you a live look at Lewisburg, where there's been quite a bit of rain and a flood advisory in effect for parts of Franklin County, especially the southern tip. There you see areas like Spring Hope and Bunn dealing with that flood advisory until 8:45 this morning. Rain falling lightly over Fuquay, moving northward toward Apex. All this moving from south to north as we go throughout the morning. So again, it's going to result in some light rain in parts of Orange and Durham counties as well. Things falling pretty lightly over Wayne and Sampson counties, where we had quite a bit of rain last night too. The flash flood warnings that were in effect, they have since expired. But if you plan on doing a little bit of exercise this morning, I think the gym is going to be packed with it being kind of wet outside. Temperatures only reached the upper 70s this afternoon. Ken.
All right, Chris, we're staying on top of this breaking news here on I-40 near the 299 exit that can take you to Garner. You can see this incident affecting both the median and the shoulder of the road. At least one lane is shut down, still causing some heavy delays stretching all the way back to Rock Quarry Road. So if you're in a rush this morning, you might want to get off on Rock Quarry Road, work your way over to MLK, and then back onto the Beltline at some point. Coming up, I'll check some other major routes and let you know if I'm picking up any delays coming into Raleigh.
Ken, thank you. A grandfather's in the hospital after he was hit by a charging bison at Yellowstone National Park. The terrifying moments caught on camera. Look at, he just went up there in the air. A man and a young person were taking photos from a distance before the animal got up and started charging. The bison then hit the man, sending him flying several feet into the air. That man needed surgery and is still in the hospital. This is the second incident involving a bison in recent months. A 12-year-old was hurt back in June. The National Park Service says you should always stay more than 25 yards away from them and run if one charges.
Goodness, and the way that man lands after that, oh, goodness. Well, Senator Mitch McConnell has broken his silence over his health, and he says he is recovering from a fall and a case of pneumonia. McConnell shared a photo yesterday through his office. It's him and his wife at a hospital. He says he was taken to the hospital last month after a fall, and that doctors say he did not suffer a heart attack. McConnell says he is in a rehabilitation center and he is undergoing more tests to find out what caused that fall. He also says he will continue to work on Senate business with his staff.
Firefighters in Brunswick County toward the coast are working to put out a raging wildfire. County officials say the fire that's burned nearly 300 acres is now 50% contained. WRAL spoke with Linda Dunlap over the weekend. She actually lives in Moore County, but she also has a house in Charlotte. And that's where she and a friend were on Friday. They noticed neighbors evacuating their homes as the fire reached the edge of their neighborhood. And they drove about 35 miles away to Whiteville, spent the night there. They got up early the next morning to head back to what was left of her home.
The traffic circle was on fire that morning. The pine trees to the right of us, right on the road, up 100, 200 feet on fire.
How were you feeling in that moment?
Devastated. I never expected to have to deal with wildfire.
Hate to see the damage, but they did the right thing by leaving that night. Dunlap says her neighborhood and the tight-knit community of people that live there were saved in part by the direction of the wind. And she thanks the North Carolina Forest Service and all the fire departments who responded.
You know, Chris, you got to think about the conditions that these firefighters were dealing with, right? It's dry, it's hot, humid, but then obviously it's at least a little bit of a help having that rainfall, but not enough to completely wipe out that wildfire.
And especially down towards Charlotte and Wilmington, where they just dealt with a stretch of triple-digit heat, you know, that adding fuel to the fire as well. So, yeah, definitely hoping that they get some rain out there. We've got some of that of our own as we're giving you this morning a live look at Pittsburgh, where it's falling pretty steadily. Some good, nice, beneficial rain to get your Monday morning started out in Pittsburgh. However, there are parts of the area where it's fallen a little too heavily and a little too quickly. So one of those areas being Franklin County from Lewisburg down south toward Franklinton, areas like Bunn and Spring Hope. You're under a flood advisory for the next 2.5 hours. Some parts of the area have seen an estimated 2.5 inches of rain in Franklin and Nash counties. You've got one downpour that's moving east of Wilson, just a few light rain showers heading toward Goldsboro, also around Dunn and Four Oaks, that moving north toward Smithfield, although that's not going to cause any additional flooding for you in Smithfield. And rain starting to move into the Triangle right now, that falling pretty lightly, but even when it's falling lightly, it can have an effect on some of those busier roads. So definitely something to keep an eye on as we get toward the peak hours of the morning commute. Heaviest rain and most widespread rain, that's going to be toward the Piedmont, toward the Triad. You get some rising motion along the foothills. That allows some of those showers to turn a little heavier out there. As we go late morning through midday, the coverage of showers will decrease a little bit. And then by the afternoon, once we start to warm things up, we'll get those scattered downpours developing, covering about half of the area, most of that being near and to the south of the Triangle. And then after 9 p.m., most showers and storms will focus their attention off toward the coast and toward South Carolina. So if you catch some breaks in the rain, you'll actually see a pretty nice day at Dix Park. Should be really good for some of those photo opportunities out there. Very Instagram worthy for sure. Temperatures will be in the upper 70s. Coolest day since June the 2nd. So we'll take a nice little break in the heat because you know it's coming back. Tomorrow, not too bad. Temperatures upper 80s. By Wednesday, we're in the low to mid 90s, but the heat really starts to take off as we head later in the week. Thursday through the weekend, mid to upper 90s, nighttime lows in the 70s. Some scattered storms will start to make a comeback each afternoon, Saturday and Sunday. Ken?
All right, Chris, happening now at the WRAL Traffic Center. Some new information right now coming in on this I-40 crash near the exit 299 that takes you to Garner. Right now, the incident has completely moved onto the shoulder of the road. The traffic is flowing nicely in all directions. No longer one lane is closed, so all lanes of traffic open. Still seeing a little bit of lingering delays right there on I-40, but that should clear up and dissipate in the next 10 to 15 minutes or so. As far as other routes heading into the Raleigh-Wake County area, we're just picking up a 1-minute delay coming in from Wake Forest, but no delays if you're coming in from Knightdale, you're coming in from Apex, or if you're coming in from the Garner-Johnston County area on I-40 westbound. You're getting ready to head into the car, though. Tune us in on the radio, 101.5 HD3.
Listening on the go. 5 on your side is testing portable speakers meant to withstand splashes, sand, and travel too. A look at the top picks that won't break the bank. And hey, just a reminder, if you ever see some breaking news, maybe you have a story tip, or you have video and pictures of the weather where you are, go ahead and report that to us at WRAL.com/report it.
This What's Trending report is sponsored by Call Dad AC and Heating.
A new take on Moana debuts in theaters, and a special anniversary for the FIFA World Cup.
Yeah, we got Ken Smith here to talk about it this morning and what's trending.
Yeah, so Kristen and Renee, let's start with that live-action Moana at the top of the box office for its opening weekend. The movie is a retelling of the hit 2016 animated film. Now, combined, it made $95 million globally, but the film, though, underperformed compared to its $250 million budget and previous Disney live-action remakes.
Yeah, Minions and Monsters and Toy Story 5 finished at second and third in the weekend box office. But, middle of July, people are busy, whatever. Yeah. My daughter does want to go see it. We'll go see it.
All right. Well, today's a special day in FIFA World Cup history. On July 13th, 1930, the very first World Cup got started in Uruguay. There were 13 teams competing in that original tournament compared to the 48 teams competing this year.
Yeah, and Uruguay hosted the championship trophy that year after beating Argentina in the championship game. But I love seeing this archive footage from back in 1930. Very gnarly to see that.
What a history lesson.
Okay, so the 2026 World Cup semifinals get started tomorrow on Fox 50. There will be a match between France and Spain. And then on Wednesday, it's England versus Argentina. Both of those games kick off at 3 p.m. The winners will play each other in the final on Sunday on Fox 50. Your time is 6:26 this morning. Tower down, power down. Around 1,000 people without power this morning in Harnett County after a crash knocked the transmission tower over. What we know about the effort to get the power turned back on.
And emergency repairs. 3 Wake County schools are dealing with structural issues, the work that needs to be done before students and teachers return to the classroom. Chris.
And parts of the area saw flooding last night, and there's still a low and localized chance of that happening today. We'll show you when and where, and also when we get a little bit of a break from this stormy pattern coming up in just a little bit.
And we do have a look at your winning NC Education lottery numbers right here on your screen.